Before we dive in, did somebody say free coffee? Yes, that's right. This week only you can get yourself some free organic coffee, but not just any coffee. Our partner, Equalife, the global leader in functional medicine, has teamed up with Purity Coffee, the world-renowned coffee manufacturer. Not only are they a coffee manufacturer, but they also farm their own coffee plants, so they have total control over the environment and the outcome of their purest coffee ever. Did you know that coffee is an antioxidant-rich superfood? That's right, containing more than double the antioxidants found even in blueberries. With people consuming an average of 3 cups of coffee per day, coffee is the number one source of antioxidants in most people's diet. The problem is that conventional coffee contains toxins like pesticides and mold, counteracting the incredible benefits. This Equalife coffee allows you to get all the benefits with none of the bad, including more than double the antioxidants found in blueberries, effective at scavenging free radicals and preventing cell damage. Who knew? All this from a cup of coffee. It also increases brain function and balances inflammation. This organic single-source coffee is free from pesticides and mold, guaranteed. It's available in whole bean and available also in regular and in decaf. It's Swiss water processed decaf, the safest and most effective way to decaffeinate your coffee. Fuel your day with a superior brew, and this week only, you can get a free bag of coffee with all qualifying orders. And if you want additional bags of coffee, you can also save 20% off with your coffee. I want you to enjoy this. Get yours today. Don't miss out because these are sure to sell out fast. You can get yours with the link in today's show notes. And now enjoy the program. Why are we reimagining health? The name of the event, Reimagining Health Summit, gets its name from the entire conventional medicine and natural health industry standing right now at a pivotal tipping point. Everything is being upended by the latest science, artificial intelligence technology, and newly discovered protocols that are reversing disease and aging right now. Most people are completely unaware of these breakthroughs as well as what's coming in just the next 5 to 10 years maximum. And we want our community to be able to take advantage of these latest discoveries today while preparing for the breakthroughs of tomorrow. This is what it reads on the Reimagining Health Summit that I attended last week, and today's episode we're going to be bringing you my biggest takeaways from that event. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mort. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're busy taking care of business, yet who's taking care of you? If you're ready to take your energy and performance to the next level in your life and your business, then this podcast is for you. Because today, you're going to start breaking boundaries of your mind, body, and business with integrative health. And when you do that, your possibilities are limitless. I'm grateful you're here. Yes, my friend, always grateful for you joining me here. Thank you for being here and listening to the Breaking Boundaries podcast. Welcome to another Healthy Thursday episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. This is episode number 36. And of course, you'll want to stay till the end when we bring it all together for you on how to avoid failure and reach your next level of success with integrative health. And for all those show notes and links, visit jeffreymort.com and click on the podcast button. Shout out today to our listeners in San Diego, California, in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, Atlanta, Georgia, and of course, Buffalo, New York. I appreciate each and every one of you listening today. And today you're going to discover my big takeaways from the Reimagining Health Summit. As a purpose-driven entrepreneur, you have a boundary, and that's not being on the leading edge of health discoveries and breakthroughs. Have you fully considered what this may be costing you? Now, in today's episode, we're going to be covering my takeaways from the live event that happened last week, the Reimagining Health Summit event that was held in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This was put on by Dr. Stephen Cabral and his amazing team at the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, at Equalife, the global leader in functional medicine. And this brought together the IHP community, it brought together the Equalife community, and it was just an absolutely amazing event. Now, it far surpassed last year's IHP Live event that was held in West Palm Beach, Florida. This time it was a bigger event, brought together more community members other than just practitioners. And last year I had the pleasure of being invited down there by Equalife and being presented an award amongst 9 other participants in a contest, and that was absolutely amazing. This year, unfortunately, last minute, I had to change my plans and attend this event virtually rather than live in person down there. So I missed out on all those connections. I know we have some health coaches listening to the podcast that were part of that event, and I'm sorry I wasn't there to say hello and make new connections and all that fun stuff, and check out all the vendors and whatnot. But what I was able to do was live stream this event right into my home on my big screen, and I brought the event to me, which was absolutely amazing. And I just want to say, next year you'll have this opportunity as well. If you're listening, you'll have the opportunity to either attend the event live or a virtual pass so that you can bring the event to you in your living room. So, as always, stay tuned to the Breaking Boundaries podcast, and we will let you know when tickets are available for next year's event. So there were 16 speakers. These were all leaders on the leading edge of wellness, and it was just absolutely amazing. So I took some fantastic notes. Let's dive in. The first speaker, Robbie Besner, he is the founder of Therasage, and they specialize in infrared technology and red light therapy. And he spoke mostly about red light therapy this time. And he talked about how red light therapy is beneficial for neuroplasticity. And if you've been a listener of the podcast here for a while, you know that I talk about neuroplasticity all the time, or at least on the Monday episodes with Mind Your Monday, and it ties into my practice as a consulting hypnotist. And what neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize and create new synapses, right? Synaptic networks within the brain. And red light therapy for neuroplasticity, just 20 minutes at 3 times a week. Research shows that it can help promote neuroplasticity in the brain. So this is amazing for so many things. Robbie also talked about contrast therapy as well. So this would be going from hot to cold or cold to hot. So, one extreme, you could go from your Therasage 360 infrared sauna, which I highly recommend, and we'll link that up in the show notes. You can go from your Therasage sauna into your TheraFrost, I believe, or TheraCool. I forget what they call it, but it is basically a cold plunge, and you can alternate in between these. You can go from hot to cold, or cold to hot, either way. And you can do this yourself without the equipment. You can do this in the shower with contrast therapy, which is going from a high temperature, be careful not to burn yourself, and then down to the coldest temperature that your shower will go to. You can do this for 30-second intervals. You can work your way up to 3-minute intervals if you like, but it's a fantastic way to regulate the central nervous system. So the next speaker, I want to go through these rather quickly. I'm not going to cover all 16 of them. But my biggest takeaways. Brian Carr, he spoke. Brian is the founder of a company called We Inspect, and they do mold inspections. He's a specialist in the mold inspection world, and science shows that mold stays trapped between the walls or under the floor, even after the moisture issue is fixed. Another point that Brian brought up was that the ERMI score, the ERMI score that most environmental testing agencies utilize, is absolutely irrelevant, and he explained why that is. I'm not going to get into that here. Maybe I'll have him on the podcast someday so he can explain that. But what he recommends is something that's called the dust test, and we can link that up in the show notes as well. Next speaker that left an impression for me was Rowdy Nassif. He is the founder of a company called Vivarays, Vivarays. The next generation of blue light blocking glasses. This is not just your average blue light blocking glasses company, and they're certainly not out there to, just make $1. They're out there to make a difference. And what Rowdy brought to us was that light is information for the central nervous system, and that sunlight is an essential nutrient. But we are exposed to so much artificial light in our lives, especially after the sun goes down, especially longer hours of artificial light as we get here into autumn and into winter, for those parts of the world that are listening that, have those shorter daylight days. We're missing out on that sunlight. So, if we're missing out on that information for the central nervous system, it could be a detriment when we're missing out on that essential nutrient. And, he said something that was very impactful to me. Rowdy said that, a lot of employers allow their employees to take cigarette breaks and go outside and actually put toxins into their body. However, you hardly ever see an employer that promotes sunlight breaks, and this could have a major positive impact on health of a business and their employees as well by offering sunlight breaks. So the next speaker that left a major impression with me was Boris Bajan. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name correctly, from Thea Health, and they are the creators of a continuous glucose monitor. And why is this important? Because biomarker streaming to solve health issues is absolutely inevitable, to quote Boris. And your daily metabolic score is actually your warning light. So if you can have a continuous glucose monitor, that's going to be monitoring your metabolic function of your body at all times. So you can see what foods are spiking your blood sugar. You can see how long it takes your blood glucose level to come down after eating, and walking for 10 minutes after you eat is hands down the quickest way and most economical way to balance your blood sugar, your glucose levels after eating. But that's your warning light, your daily metabolic score. So that's why a continuous glucose monitor is helpful. And Boris and Dr. Cabral had a conversation after his talk, and they talked about the diphasic insulin curve and how the research shows that this proves to be a more efficient pancreatic function. And what's a diphasic insulin curve? This is when your insulin curve isn't just an up and then down after you eat. It's actually a up and then down slightly, back up again, and then down to a baseline once again. So that diphasic insulin curve shows that you're having a more efficient pancreatic function. We can do a show on that coming up. Next speaker was Elliot Rowe, a mindset coach from Primed Mind. If you want to check out the app Prime Mind, Elliot Rowe, I've been a huge fan of his since I heard him on the Cabral Concept podcast years ago, and I've been using his Primed Mind app ever since. Elliot Rowe is a professional hypnotist and mindset coach. And he explained that most problems with his clients that he coaches, and he coaches some top performers in the world, from, athletes to poker players to entrepreneurs and celebrities. But most problems are rooted from childhood experiences and feelings of not being loved. And this is something that I learned in my training as a consulting hypnotist as well, is it's usually one of the three main issues with somebody being stuck in their life and not getting to where they want to be. Not going to cover all those now, but the solution for that comes from how you can reframe that moment. Amazing talk from Elliot Rowe, very motivational. Next speaker was Dr. Jay Wiles from HANU, H-A-N-U, and he is a heart rate variability expert. He's also a doctor in clinical psychology. And heart rate variability is the gap in between your heartbeats. So when your heart beats, there's a space in between there, a duration of time, and that variability, whether that time is longer or shorter, plays a major role in your overall health. And your heart rate variability is nothing that you should ever compare to anybody but yourself. So, some people are trying to achieve a high heart rate variability, and it needs to be modulated. It needs to fluctuate during the day and during the night as well. But the Hanu device is a great way to get real-time HRV data, so that you can see what is affecting your HRV. And of course, if you stress your body out intentionally, like through a workout, your HRV is going to plummet, but it's how quick you can recover from that that's important. And bioresonance breathing is absolutely the most effective for heart rate variability because it resonates with the cardiovascular and the autonomic nervous system. And you can use HRV modulation for recovery from things like long COVID that we spoke about in last week's episode, myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. You can utilize HRV modulation in recovery for that. And Dr. Jay Wiles, he gave a protocol that he does, not necessarily a protocol, but just something he does for vagal nerve stimulation. And he says his family thinks he's absolutely crazy when he does this. But we talked earlier when I spoke about Robbie Besner, we talked about contrast therapy. Something Dr. Jay Wiles mentioned that he does is he will take a bowl and fill it with water and then put ice in it. And he will actually do a facial ice bath where you just hold your breath as long as you can. You put your face in the water as long as you can. And this stimulates the vagal nerve and modulates your heart rate variability. So I'm looking forward to trying that. Maybe I'll do a social media live on that or reel rather on that. So next speaker was Mark Squibb. Mark Squibb is the founder of LiveO2, and he is a brain and oxygen health expert. And what is the LiveO2? This is oxygen therapy. So if you've ever heard of EWOT, EWOT, this is exercise with oxygen therapy. So this is something as simple as getting on a treadmill or getting on an exercise bike with this oxygen setup. It's not an oxygen tank. It's actually an oxygen generator that fills up a bag that's on a stand. And then there's a hose from the bag to a face mask. Very simple setup. And you actually breathe this oxygen at a certain rate as you are doing some moderate exercise. Now, you can get into high-intensity interval training or sprint interval training with this as well, but you can use it as a recovery mode, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes when we get into the high-performance health hacks. You can use it for recovery, especially recovery from things like traumatic brain injuries or reversing Alzheimer's, or Mark went over so many different protocols. You can use this for sexual dysfunction. You can use it for, boosting libido and all kinds of things. So amazing. LiveO2, we'll link them up today in the show notes. But EWOT, exercise with oxygen therapy, shows that it can bring a 29% increase in brain oxygen. It can bring a 12% increase in neuro performance. So it can actually make you smarter and think faster. And a 29% increase in VO2 max over 11 weeks. So VO2 max, or maximal oxygen consumption, that actually refers to the maximum amount of oxygen that an individual can utilize during intense or maximal exercise. And this measurement, it's generally considered the best indicator of cardiovascular fitness and aerobic endurance. And adaptive contrast is what Mark says is the key over straight oxygen therapy, because oxygen drives energy in every cell of the body. So very, very important, adaptive contrast. So that is, adapting to going from high oxygen, breathing in high oxygen to breathing in low oxygen, back to high oxygen again. So the next speaker was James Gorin, and he is the CEO and founder of PureWave. They specialize in VEMI vibrational healing. So cellular health, he's a cellular health expert, James Gorin is, and also specializes in PEMF. So that's pulse electromagnetic frequency. Because the body is electromagnetic. You've heard me say this before. We are bio-electromagnetic beings. So this healing modality, this VEMI and PEMI, PEMI, is used to bring resonance back into the body. The Earth has a resonance of 7.83 hertz, and that's known as the Schumann resonance. Schumann resonance, and this is the vibration of the Earth, and this is what our body wants to be as closely related to for health benefits as possible, because we are nature. There's no getting around that. So what is PEMI versus VEMI? So PEMI is pulse electromagnetic induction, and VEMI is vibrational electromagnetic induction. And they have these VEMI beds. They had them at the expo, and that's the one thing that I was really kicking myself that I wasn't there to try that out, because the remarks from all the people that were able to try these VEMI beds for a session were absolutely amazing, and I'd love to try one. So, the PEMI mats, the pulse electromagnetic induction mats, are very affordable, and you can get these for use in your bed or your home or a chair. Absolutely affordable and within reach for most people. The VEMI beds, not so much. Those are more for clinics. Those price out at about $50,000. So if you can find a clinic near you or a spa near you that offers the VEMI beds, you should try those out. I couldn't recommend them enough. And then last but not least, there were other talks that I'm not covering here in this podcast today and trying to keep us under 20 minutes. But the high performance health hacks was absolutely amazing. And they demonstrated one of these on stage. Dr. Cabral narrated it, and he had one of his health coaches there to be doing the exercise as the workout candidate. And this is something that you can use to turn back your biological aging. And that's something that we're going to be specializing in at Love Energy Wellness coming up in the end of this year. So this consists of a 20-minute workout, this high performance health hack, we'll call it, 20-minute workout, 20 minutes of exercise with oxygen therapy. So that's a combination of exercise, and now we're shifting into recovery from that 20-minute workout. And then 20-minute sauna and sitting on a PEMF mat, a pulse electromagnetic frequency mat, at the same time. And you can also couple that with doing meditation or binaural beats, but that is full-on recovery. So you're doing a workout, then you're shifting into workout and recovery, and then you're shifting into recovery in 20-minute increments. So that's 20, 40, 60. If you do the 60-minute protocol for high performance health 3 to 4 times a week, you're going to see some absolutely amazing, amazing results. And we're going to detail that in greater detail coming up in a future episode. So the plan, I always love to give you a plan. How is this a boundary? This is not biohacking, my friends. This is the future of health. This is what it's taking now to be able to stop and reverse and prevent disease of the body. And, of course, I have to give you my disclaimer here. This podcast, nor, any integrative health practitioner, we don't diagnose, we don't treat, we don't cure disease, but we get you so healthy that body cannot be in the state of dis-ease. And imagine life without the problem of rapid aging or unexpected disease, or being on daily medications, or having a poor quality of life as our chronological age goes by. So in a moment, you're about to discover how to break that boundary. I want to give you a call to action here, and this was a direct quote from the event. I believe this was in the state of the industry address right at the beginning. But having awareness of who's responsible for promoting disease rather than vibrancy we deserve. And this is 4 categories here. Big Pharma, for that pill for every ill mentality, and their infiltration of medical schools. I'm not going to get into what exactly that means. We'll explain that in another episode. Next is big government for profiting from our sickness. Next is big agriculture with their monocrops, their fake foods, their genetically modified organisms that they're putting in our foods, and systemic poisoning. Yes, that's a very strong word, but poisoning of our children. The food that they're eating is not food. This is fake food, and it's actually poison for the body in very small increments. And then big tech for censoring natural health alternatives on all major social and search platforms. And, I haven't been censored yet, but I'm sure that the day will come where, unfortunately, I'll be censored, at least on social media or something like that. And I'm not looking forward to that day, because I have a message, an unbiased opinion, or unbiased information that I want to bring to you. I try to keep my opinion out of the matter here. But that's your call to action, is have that awareness of who's responsible for promoting that disease rather than the vibrancy. So anytime you see an advertisement on television or hear it on the radio, or you see marketing on products and packaging, whether it's physical products or consumables, look at it from the angle of having the awareness of who's responsible and what are they promoting. Are they promoting disease, or are they promoting that vibrancy that we deserve? Because I want you to be able to avoid failure. And that being said, who's in control of your health? Are you in control of your health? Is your medical doctor in control of your health? Is Big Pharma in control of your health? Because I want to hear your success story. I want you to take control of your health. That is your birthright. It is 100% possible, 100% of the time, for you, my friend, to take control of your health. And this happens through at-home health testing. This happens through natural health protocols. And this happens the next step would be high-performance health protocols to be able to live healthily until 100 years old. Absolutely possible. It's happening today. This is not something fictitious. It's not something being made up. It's happening now. So your key takeaways today, or at least my key takeaways from this event, I'll give you my key takeaways. We talked about red light therapy. We talked about blue light therapy. We talked about exercise with oxygen therapy. We talked about infrared therapy. We talked about heart rate variability, and we talked about vibrational electromagnetic induction therapy. The common theme here is that everything is energy. Even that oxygen therapy. Oxygen molecules are energy and information for your body. So is the red light, so is the blue light, so is the infrared light, so is the heart rate variability, so is the vibrational electromagnetic induction. It's all energy, because we are bioelectromagnetic beings. And once we get that under control and we are resonating with that Schumann resonance of 7.83 hertz, then our body begins to heal. And we do this, again, through understanding what the underlying root causes are. We do this through rebalancing the body with natural health protocols. That includes energy and information. And then reversing our age and living healthily beyond 100 years old with high-performance health protocols. And this ties into our next episode. I want you to stay tuned to the Breaking Boundaries podcast, because our next episode is going to explain exactly how we are bioelectromagnetic beings. I'm grateful for you being here today. Please share this episode and leave a review so we can help more people. And I will see you next time with Breaking Boundaries. Bye-bye, everybody. Before we say goodbye, you may not have realized it, but you can get free daily access to our thriving Love Energy Wellness community and support group, where you'll join health-conscious entrepreneurs just like you. I know you're concerned about your health, energy, and performance. That's why I personally answer your questions daily, invite you to our weekly live calls, and share pro-wellness tips for energy and performance, and exclusive offers just for our community members. This is also your support hub when we gather every 90 days for a total body and mind reset, also known as the world-renowned Dr. Cabral Functional Medicine Detox Protocol. You're going to love the way you feel every time. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that values your health as your greatest asset, naturally you'll want to join, and invite your friends, your family, and your colleagues to our community, where you'll feel loved, supported, seen, and heard. Visit loveenergywellness.com to join the community, or the link is also right here in today's show notes. I'll see you soon.